Scott for Wessex Blades. So I've been using this over the last day or two in order to try and get a patina on the carbon steel blades. I think one of them's Elmax as well. I think the Merlin might be Elmax. So not the easiest thing in the world to get a differential color on Elmax, because it doesn't like being stained. It's stainless, very much so. So I used the mustard to begin with, and I was having a look at the ingredients, and it goes water, mustard flour, sugar, salt, wheat. I'm still waiting for the acid, or flour, I suppose, still waiting for the acid, flour, spices, still waiting, citric acid. So I used mustard to begin with for about 40 minutes, didn't get much of a result. I did add then some vinegar, and now getting sort of a thick, runny consistency, so it still stays on the blade. And that's the difference with using mustard as opposed to something like you were using a tank of acid and then you'd use a resist. So you'd use, I've got some sort of nail varnish or something, so you use nail varnish as a resist, where you don't want it to be attacked by acid. You put the nail varnish, you put it in the acid with I've got an aquarium pump, bubble it through. You may have it warmed as well, and after however 10 to 15 minutes with the ferric acid, you then take it out, rinse it off, and then you use acetone to get the nail varnish off. So you use it as a resist. To put ferric acid on a blade, you'd have to lay it flat. You couldn't do both sides at the same time because it would be so fluidy, it would just drain away. Whereas mustard, being that it's thick and pasty, will stay on the blade. So I was putting it on, red clamp, just letting it just stay there on the side. And by the time I'd done 4, the first one was ready to rinse off, and I was getting, it's worked. And if I run my finger along, it feels like a stylophone keyboard. If those of us more mature in years remember, it feels like that. Okay, you can feel the ups and downs as it's gone through. So it has bit into the steel, but it's still not as defined an etch as I'm after. So I put my results up on Instagram, and then Reaper chimed in and he said, obviously try ferric, yeah, 3-to-1 ratio. And I went, yeah, in a way. And I'm thinking, well, does he mean, or does he mean? So rather than pester him for time and all the rest of it, I thought, well, if he means, you know, put it in the ferric, I'd be just using nail varnish as a resist, because whatever. And then I thought, does he, whether he was right or I was right or wrong, guessing what he was saying, or perhaps he means put the ferric etch acid into the mustard, which would give me a bitier paste, but a paste still, so it will stay on the blade. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try today. Whether that's what he meant, that's what I've come up with. It could be exactly what he was on about, or he could have meant do it in it. But I think the way it's sort of worked out in my Wessex brain. So the plan is, I'm going to use this bottle. I'm going to cut it into a sort of bucket. I'm going to put down inside my big waste pipe etch tank. The lid is heavier, so it'll stay lower. I want to lift it up like Jack and Jill bucket winder. I'm going to have some thread to pull the bucket up. Rather than doing like that, I don't think it'll be very heavy and it might tip. So using the lid end and cutting it off about there, I'm only going to need, I don't know, a dram's worth. I don't need to put much into this to make this a lot more acidic than it would be the vinegar. So that's my plan. I'm going to slice this up, punch 2 holes with that in it. So thread some thread through, go out in the garage, get a cap full of that. I won't use all of it, it's just a little bit. put it in that, and let's paint some on and see where we go. So next time you see me, I'm going to have some mustard of doom, I'm going to call it. I don't know whether that's what Mr. Reaper was on about, but that's what I've come up with. Sounds evil. Okay, back in. Ferric Etch is in there. So, waterproof glove. Clean that up. Now, very important. That is a food looking item. So what I'm going to do I've already told my wife the mustard that's in my room is not mustard, it's deaf mustard. So no messing about. Okay, right. Let's get playing. So, first one I'm going to do, I'm sure I put a dash of oil on top of it, so I'm going to re-acetone it clean. So get that on the internet. It's about 10 quid for a litre, usually free post. So I'm going to clean that off. Now, when I was putting it on, I did try to start with a lolly stick. Wasn't that accurate. Then I tried a cotton bud for those transatlantics when you Q-tip. But in England we call those cotton buds. That was alright. It was far better using the cotton bud to clean between the lines, I found. But when it comes to putting it on, I found a paintbrush easier, and all I did was chuck it in a jam jar of water to clean it off anyway. So I'm going to use a paintbrush to put it on. There we go, as I do it. So there was that much mustard, about that much of a bottle of vinegar, and I would say about 1 finger's depth of that bottle. So I suppose 2 shot glass and a half ish of Ferric Etch, which is not very strong anyway. I prefer to keep it quite a mild concentration, so you don't overdo it, and rather spend time, and the bubbler is the actions rather than a vicious acid. So I'm going to do that on the tang side first, see what it's like. So on the bird's head pommel end, I'm just going to . and this is 01. This going over there. So I'm going to give that 20 minutes. All I'm going to do is put it like that, and then leave it on the side. Catch you in 20 minutes, let's see what it looks like. Right, reference sake, this is 20 minutes in, so I'll wipe it off and see if there's any difference in colour. Not really. Boo! Bit longer now. So just put it on like that. 1 hour. Crack on with something else. That's about that much Ferric Etch now. So poured out some mustard. Filled that up with. Put a bit more mustard in, so it's 3 to 1 the other way now. Just done that one. So that's the weak ferric, slightly darker, but still not quite what I'm after. You do feel it going across there. Very stylophone. But let's see what my super strength version will, which is this one. Might put another application on actually. That's had 32 minutes, so I'm going to put another application straight on top. Now, that's better. So, half an hour, reapplication, another half an hour. So, I'll be able to get into a batch production of those. When I've got 5 or so, I could do 5 of them, and then wait a few minutes, and then be back to the first one. Nice. So thanks for joining me. If that's helped anybody out, keeping it thick. About that much is weak ferric, and the rest is mustard. And it stays on there, so you don't need a resist. So you don't need nail varnish or anything. You get a nice black sort of extremity of where the application was on there. Brilliant. So, hope you enjoyed that. Greatly supported again by Patreons. Thanks to Reaper Blades for the idea of using ferric. Whether it was ferric and mustard, I don't know, but that's what I've done. As I say, don't forget, once you've committed that jar, you need to label it as something non-culinary. Stop wasting plates out. Happy New Year. See you on the next one.